Welcome to the NFL. Let's go! Let's go!
Welcome in. Jeremy Popielarz here with you as always. We are here to rock and roll. It is week 13. We are probably, halfway through some of your guys' fantasy matchups with both 3 Thursday night games, a Friday game, etc. However, we're here. We're here to answer those questions that we have left and rolling out there because I'm sure they're there. Critical week here in week 13. Many of us going through and probably making those last-ditch efforts to make the playoffs and or seeding there for many of our leagues. We have just a few weeks left in most fantasy formats. So exciting there. And as always, we're here. We're going to talk a little bit of football, some people, some things. Talk about, just stuff, right? David in here early. Good morning, David. How's it going? Much like many of us, David, must-win weeks for many of us here. But yeah, David, still down nothing. Still says sent when typing. Only need one running back. Hopefully you pick the right one. Got 32 to pick from, right? Well, 64 you could probably get away with. We could say that, right? We got plenty of questions. Again, normal housekeeping here. Check out FTN Fantasy. We got a sale going on. What is that? I think it's 20% off the highest level, or 25 maybe off the highest, 20 off of the next one down. Gets you access Discord, rankings, you name it. Got a good rankings crew over there between Jeff Radcliffe, Tyler Orginski, and myself. Good group. Definitely some accurate rankings over there. So those can help you make some of these start-sit decisions if you can't always come and hang out with us on Sundays. Easy way to do it, right? Gets access to the Discord channel, you name it, different packages as well. So just check it out. Tons of fun stuff. Get DVOA from Aaron Shots, multiple different sports platforms as well if you're interested in that stuff as well. So check that out. Now that that's out of the way, normal housekeeping, plain and simple. Start sit thread over on my X account at PopesFFH. You can drop the questions there. Those won't be pulled up. Read them out, answer them. Drop them on the X here on FTN Fantasies at FTN Fantasy. Obviously, you can pull those up in the comments as well as on YouTube. I will be able to pull those comments up. We'll keep it rolling. We'll move through 11:30. Maybe we'll check on the inactives list. We're just going to keep it rolling right up there till 12:30, and we'll kick loose, and we'll hope for the best as far as fantasy football goes, right? So, Restaurant Dom here starting us off over on X. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. It was all right. It's pretty solid. Superflex, Young or Cousins. Then another league in Dart or Knicks. I will go with Bryce Young. I'm not overly confident. The Rams defense, not ideal. Well, yeah. My bad. Rewind. We'll go with Kirk Cousins. Yeah, Young against the Rams, not ideal. I mean, there's a chance he's solid. I don't necessarily want to employ Kirk Cousins either. A little bit of a matchup, though. Easier matchup against the Jets secondary that's not so good over the last few weeks. So I'll roll with Cousins there. I don't think you're getting a ton out of either of these guys, Dom. And then Dart or Knicks would be Jackson Dart. I know there's some worry he probably won't run as much, obviously, with the concussion history starting to add up. But I'm still in on Jackson Dart as a dual threat-ish quarterback. Knicks is, I think there's a chance Knicks has a pretty good day, though. Washington secondary, not so great. Should be able to pass all over them. And then we've got Chris Schmidt, Kincaid, Jonnu Smith as a backup plan, or play Waller. I would play Waller here. I am hopeful as a Bills fan that Kincaid does make it out onto the field. Would be a huge impact in that game. However, I'm not too confident. So I'm going to go with Waller. I don't want that fall off to Jonnu Smith. So, Chris, I would stay with Waller. Summer Penner 1 on X, Gainwell, Bucky, or Mechie. I will go with Gainwell, keeping it in the Bills-Steelers matchup. Like the spot for them. Probably can run the football fairly easily there for the Steelers today. David must-win week. Okay, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Harvey, Jones, Neal, Marv, Troy Franklin, Johnston, and Tet. So the 1 running back would be Harvey. I'm in on that 100% there. Your 2 wide receivers, I would go with Marvin Harrison and Troy Franklin. And then your flex would be Jones. I'm assuming that's Aaron Jones. Yeah. Pretty simple there, David. Not too complicated there. FDH, Walker, or Vidal would be Vidal for me. No Omarion Hampton gives a bump to Vidal. Raiders run defense solid, but the volume should outweigh it. That was my concern, I guess. Earlier in the week, Vidal ranked a little lower, was more or less just because Hampton was going to see some types of touches. We're not going to get that, so I'm fine with Vidal. Probably top 24 option there for running backs. Ben, Broncos, or Rams. Got to roll with the Rams right now. Yeah, they're pretty lights out. And you got Carolina, Bryce Young. They're hot-ish, but I don't trust them against that Rams defense. So that's where I would go. Let's see here. We got Dale on X, Kirk, or Rodgers. I would go Kirk, and then Bam Knight, McLaurin, Parker, Washington, or Rodriguez. I'll go Knight. I like okay, or not, because computer. I like Parker Washington as well today, but I'll go with Bam Knight. Likely he probably finds his way into the end zone in some capacity. Yusef Murr on X, need to play 2 out of Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, and Mooney. So I'd go Marvin Harrison and Mooney. I don't want to double dip on Arizona's receivers. They could both have a good day, obviously. But I think Harrison comes back and has a pretty solid day there for the Cardinals, who will likely throw the ball plenty. David, drop Sean Tucker to pick up the Browns defense if I win this week. It's almost wins. I'd hold on to Sean Tucker. Will I have to see how this breakdown goes? Obviously, White was before Tucker, pre-Tucker breakout, but now even with Irving back, you're likely just going to see 2 of these. I doubt we have a hard-headed 3-back committee in a way, and Tucker may have surpassed White, so I'd probably hold off. Depends on who else you have at defense. But the Rams defense is a strong play, though, David. So I understand where you're going. Jorge, Warren, or Vidal would be Jalen Warren. Again, Bills defense, they're going to give up plenty on the ground. Should have a pretty decent day there for Jalen Warren, especially if he finds the end zone. And the defense, Jorge, just much like I told David, I'm in on the Browns. It's kind of a snow game up there. We just saw Purdy throw 3 interceptions at Carolina defense. The Browns defense is even better. So, yeah, I'm in on the Cleveland defense this week. Gabe over on X, Dowdle, Jefferson, Shakir need 2. Already have Allen and Cook for the Bills. Ooh, we're going to load up on those guys. Shakir and Jefferson would be my play. I like Khalil Shakir today, kind of that cog that gets that offense going, especially if they are going to be missing Dalton Kincaid. Morgan Palpert on X, Brian Thomas Jr., Knight, or Bucky in flex. I would go with Bam Knight. I think there's a chance he scores. It's really the only reason I'm going there. Jimmy 8 on X start. Debo, Higgins, Slayton, or Mechie. Higgins and running back. I'll start Bucky, Bam Knight, Gainwell, or pick up Tucker or White. I would go with Gainwell there. KVO on X. Superflex, unfortunately, I sat Jameson and Manungai. Flex options are limited. Genty, Aaron Jones, Walker, Woody, Marks. I could pick up either Mechie, Bam Knife, and already starting JSN, Lamb, Sutton, Purdy. Okay, so so need 2 running backs and a flex. Limited options: Genty, Jones, Walker, Woody, Marks. So it'd be Genty, Marks, and Jones for you, KVO. All right, PGA, Barstool, Debo, Tracy, Juwan, Jennings, or Bucky, pick 2. Yikes. So Debo and I suppose Bucky Irving there. Gabe Miller, should I start Amika Buka or Breece Hall? I would go with Breece Hall there, Gabe. PPR, Schultz, Waller, or Fannin. That would be Waller. And then Pollard or Chris Rodriguez would be C-Rod. Tough matchup, but I'll take Rodriguez over Waller as it sits. Jason Quinn, Baker, or Kirk Cousins. I would go with Baker. Sounds like Baker starting, so I'm going to go with Baker in that category. Christopher Martinez, Bucky Sutton, or Jaden Higgins, full PPR. I would go Sutton there. Again, a really strong matchup for the Denver receivers today, so pretty much like them all. Pretty simple there. Sony, Neal, Rico, or Vidal would be Kamani Vidal. Mully over on X need one Woody Marks, Vidal, Devin Neal, or Tyrone Tracy. So I would go with Vidal there as well. Daniel Plainview, pick 2, Harvey, Dowdell, Wilson, Shakir, and Olave. I will go Harvey and Shakir. Mike Upass on X, need non-PPR start to Judkins, Vidal, Knight, and Marks. Judkins and Vidal. Eli, Michael Wilson, Neal, Vidal start 2. So Vidal and Wilson. Tyler, what's up? Bucky, Vidal, or Judkins? I will go with Quinshon Judkins. Vidal's really close there, Tyler. But I think Judkins finds the end zone. A little bit of a snow game, a little cold weather game. You know, keep those legs moving and run game. That's what's going to be the key. I think there's going to be some wind as well up there in Cleveland. So formula does not seem well for Shedeur Sanders. The easiest thing would be to put the ball on the ground and keep Quinshon Judkins moving. So I'm in on Judkins. And like I said, Vidal's close. A lot of opportunity there for Vidal as well in the backfield. No, I just dropped the Chargers, Dave. And Chargers will probably be decent today, but I would play the Browns over the Chargers this week as well, David, personally. But Dave, that's just me. I don't think there's a big difference between the Chargers and Cleveland for this week, Dave. So Marcia DeVille, Harvey, Walker, Brees would be RJ Harvey. Let's see here. No. Hey. Boogie B. Start 2, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, Michael Pittman, Jacoby Myers. So I would go Marvin Harrison and Jacoby. Shay on X. Good morning. PPR running backs, Judkins or Dowdle would be Judkins, and then Wilson or Ibuka. I would still go Ibuka. I know you're worried about Baker Mayfield, but I would probably roll with that. Maximus Italiano, start 2. Waddle, or start 1. Waddle, Ibuka, or Judkins. Well, that would be Waddle. Start 2 of these 3. Judkins, Ibuka, and Harvey would be Judkins and Harvey. Jay Morty, tight end play, Kincaid or Schultz would be Kincaid. Flex play, Neal, Knight, or Pierce. I will go with Devin Neal. Jonathan on X, PPR, Warren, Kincaid, Schultz, Strange, or Waller. Warren, and then Neil Tracy or Higgins would be Neil. Neil on X, Juwan or Gaddiston. I would go with Oronde Gaddiston there. Good matchup against the Raiders. Alex Winton, what do you think between Browns, Chargers, and Texans? I would go with Cleveland, Alex. Period on X. That's it. That's all it is. Blacked out. Pick 2, Bucky, Woody, Tet. Full PPR. So Woody and Bucky. Juwan Jennings or Addison? Yikes. I'll go Jennings. I can't start Addison in good faith with that offense and what it may end up looking like. Let's see here. Matthew Demon, need 2 running backs and a flex for half PPR from Dowdle, Vidal, Gainwell, Neal, Wilson, and McMillan. Okay, so 2 running backs and a flex. So we got Vidal and Gainwell with Wilson. Lewis, 12, Harvey, Ken Walker, Vidal, Judkins. Pick 3. So Harvey, Vidal, Judkins would be my 3. Earl on X, Gadsden, Pittman, or Marvin Harrison Jr. in flex. I would go with Marvin Harrison Jr. there, Earl. Release the Kraken, full PPR, Marks, Judkins, or Gainwell. I will go Judkins there. Ben Russell, Vidal, or Bucky. I would go with Vidal, Ben. I mean, he might be a little limited, David, but I don't think so. I mean, they sat him out for 2 weeks. You're not getting him back in just to kind of keep him super limited. Like, I feel like at this point, he's got to be healthy enough. Like, if it's not like they've been bad without him. So why would they rush him in, kind of, is my approach, David. I think that both him and Michael Wilson kind of mitigate each other a little bit, but I think Marv probably scores a touchdown. That's where my lean is. That's the only difference between the two for me this week. So, but I'm still in on it. I think it's a good matchup. The Cardinals are throwing the ball for the yard, and Marv was coming on there right before that appendectomy was. Yeah, but like, I don't believe practice reports too much. They've been proven to lie to us very much, David. So to what capacity is full? They're obviously not going to like just let them get smacked in practice. Why bother? Because I'm sure what it is, it's more of a soreness in the midsection, certain moves, certain tweaks. So I would say that he's still going to have a good enough role that I'm still fine starting Marvin Harrison Jr. Morning. Vidal or Dowdle for James would be Kamani Vidal. 100% there. Don't like Dowdle's matchup against the Rams. Not one bit. Tez, Tucker, or Mechie. I would go with probably Trey Tucker. Likely that the Raiders have to throw. Good chance he could potentially score a touchdown or make a big play here. Yeah, that's probably where I'm at with those. Lions draft watch on X, Dart, or Nix. I will go Dart and bench one of Judkins, Genty, or Tet. Would be Tet McMillan for me. Jack, I have both Franklin and Sutton. Who are you starting? Would be Troy Franklin. I like the spot for Franklin a little more than Sutton. Feels like Franklin's become a little bit more of a safety valve there for Bo Nix this season. Austin King, half PPR, Bam Knight, Dowdle, Vidal, choose 2. Be Vidal and Knight. And then flex Jetta, BTJ, or above the 3rd. I'm going to go Jetta. I know it's not pretty, but either's Brian Thomas Jr. So, yeah, I will go with the much better receiver in Justin Jefferson. MW3, would you start Daniel Jones or CJ Stroud today? Would be CJ Stroud, not messing with Daniel Jones, injured and playing that passing defense. Nick, start one. Shakir, Olave, Ibuka. I'll go with Olave here. I still believe in him this week. Know he's got some back spasms going on and stuff like that, but still believe in Chris Olave for this week. T. Rogers, Kittle, Johnson, or Strange. I'm gonna still ride Kittle. I know that the weather's not going to be ideal up there, but they'll find a way to get him the football. Nathan Millerberg, pick 2, flex Bucky, Aaron Jones, Jennings, Rico, or Woody. So Woody and Jones would be my 2 there, Nathan. David, so just to confirm, both him and Troy Franklin over Tet and Aaron Jones, despite a tough matchup, over Devin Neal, Tet, and Tucker. Yes, so I would play Marvin Harrison Jr. and Troy Franklin over Tet. I don't like Tet against the Rams. It's a tough matchup. Jones would be intriguing, I guess, towards Marvin Harrison. If you were really worried about the injury, I would be intrigued. Devin Neal, I worry with the jokeriness of, I mean, they have Audric Estime potentially going to be playing today. They've got Taysom Hill. Like, I love Devin Neal. I do. And I think he could run away with it. I just don't know if that's going to happen. So I would lean to maybe Aaron Jones over Marvin Harrison Jr. Neal's a little bit further back for me than it would be. And that's saying that Neal could still have a very big day, but I just don't trust it. So I guess if you're riskier and you want to shoot the upside, probably Neal probably has a higher upside than Marvin Harrison, because I doubt Harrison's going to score 2 touchdowns and go for 150 yards because of Michael Wilson's emergence, as well as Trey McBride, etc. Devin Neal could easily run away with the backfield and score 2 touchdowns and rush for 150 yards. So I guess if you're playing the upside of it, Devin Neal probably has the highest upside of this group, David, but the safety and a fairly good upside is Marvin Harrison and Troy Franklin would be where I'm at. If that helps you, maybe make it muddier. I'm sorry. I apologize. Derek, start 2, Rico, Warren, or Devin Neal. So yeah, Jalen Warren and Devin Neal for me. I don't want to do anything with Rico Dowdle against the Rams. Gut checker rank Ibuka, Michael Wilson, Tet, full PPR would be the order you have it there. Gut checker. Momin Rashid, good morning. Jawan Jennings, Parker Washington, or Slayton start 1. I would go with Parker Washington. If I can, I am avoiding the passing attacks in Cleveland today. Shepard-Torres, C-Rod, or Strange. I think I'm going to lean to Brenton Strange a little bit. I like Rodriguez. I just don't trust Rodriguez against the Denver secondary. Geez. The Denver front, as well as that Washington offense to really move the ball a ton. Feels like probably a McNichols game more than a Rodriguez game. So I think I'm going to go with Strange there for you. Moonsman, what's up? Neal, Pearsall, Adonai Mitchell, Hodgins need 1 wide receiver and 1 flex. Okay. Devin Neal, for sure, out of this group would probably be your flex there. And then going receiver, I'd probably go Hodgins. Ride the hot streak for now. Again, avoiding the passing attacks in Cleveland today, as well as Adonai Mitchell could be intriguing, but if he's the one who draws AJ Terrell, like, that's just not going to end well. So I'm probably going to go Neal and Hodgins there for you, Moonsman. Hopefully Hodgins finds the end zone again this week. That would be my hopes there for you. Aaron, Brissett, Darnold, or Purdy would be Brissett. User need 2 of Jacoby Myers, Oronde Gaddison, Hunter Henry, and Bam Knight at flex. So we'll go Knight and Myers. Nick, start 1. Shakir, Olave, Ibuka was Olave. I think we answered this one already for you, Nick. There's a similar question. Stuart Reiger. Hey, Jeremy, would you go Vidal or Bucky today? Would be Vidal. Marty on X. Start Darnell Mooney or Jacoby Myers. I would do Mooney. Start 2 quarterbacks, Stroud, Mayfield, or Rodgers. Would be Stroud and Mayfield. And then start Justin Jefferson or Vidal. Sadly, would be Connie Vidal. We've made it that far. It's been a fall off. David, Waller, or Walker, or Marks. I would go Woody Marks there. Never mind. Changed it up on me mid-answer. Would be Marks and Devin Neal. Ken Walker. I lied, David. I would go Marks. Man, this is tough, David. I see your concerns. Let me go to Moonsman and think about it for a sec, Dave. I would go Waller over Theo Johnson anyways. Moons. Well, you got Dart back. I'd probably go Waller. Likely scores a touchdown today. David. So I'd play Ken Walker, and then I would coin flip Woody Marks and Devin Neal. I lean to Marks because I think that game is a little bit more fun and competitive. Well, that's a plus. If you want the upside, I guess maybe Walker and Neal. I mean, I guess they're all kind of the same player, to be honest, David. Could all go for 5 or all could go for 20. So up to you. I mean, maybe Marks and Neal both have higher upside, I think, than Walker, who could have Charbonnet steal a touchdown here or there. So okay. Let's see here. Andrew Pelletier, flex knees 1, got hammered with St. Brown injury. Yeah, you and me both, Andrew. Feeling that one. Olave, Woody, or Gainwell seems easy, but with the CO injury, I would go still with Olave. Who do I start at flex for Atlanta Hawks fans? Got Quentin Johnson, Butte. I would go with Butte over Quentin Johnston. Etienne or Jeff? Wait, what's going on here? Ace. I guess Etienne or Jefferson. So I guess we'll go Etienne. Don't feel too confident. Don't love Etienne today. But you never know. You never know. Let's see here. JBU pick 2. Neil Judkins or Michael Wilson. Would be Judkins and Wilson. Straight rigged, full PPR, flex, Olave, Shakir, Marvin Harrison Jr., or Etienne. That's a lot of options. Good options too. Straight rigged. We'll go Olave. Dart Nix or Brissett. I will go with Jacoby Brissett. Ben Lentz, good morning. PPR, Vidal, Tet, Marks, pick 2, please. Would be Vidal and Marks. Ben, Ken Walker, Stephon Diggs, BTJ, or Pittman. Pick only one. Half PPR. Need a ceiling game. Have the best chance to win, most likely. I will go with Diggs in that aspect. For you, Ben. W. Miller, Marks, or Marvin Harrison Jr. I'll go with Harrison Jr. David, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Marks, Neal, Knight, Jettas, Tet, QJ, Myers, and Higgins. So Marks would be my running back, probably. Flexing Neal. And then playing I suppose Jettas and Myers. Yeah. So Marks, Neal, Jettas, and Jacoby Myers would probably be my play. Yeah. That's where I'm at, David. You hate Justin Jefferson's situation at the moment, honestly. Shouldn't be so hard to say Justin Jefferson, but it is. That's why we're here. JP Doran on X, pick 2, Harrison, Tet, Vidal, and Marvin Harrison Jr. Luke. Oh, no, Julian. My apologies. Hope Thanksgiving was great. It was pretty solid, Julian. I'll say that. Standard tight end, start Gaddison or wait for Kincaid. I would just go Gadsden in there. Flex, Mechie, Hodgins, Waller, or Fannin as a flex. Probably we'll say Mechie. Would you start Dowdell or Woody as a running back? 2 would be Woody. Also, I need to sit one of the wide receivers. Tet, Sutton, or Shakir would be Tet McMillan for me as the sit, Julian. Luke, good morning. Godwin or Woody Marks? I would go Marks. They're probably still going to ease Godwin in a bit there. Dwayne Jackson need 2, Allen, Tracy, or DK. So DK and Tracy there for you, Dwayne. Let's see here. Mercio need 2 of Neal, Harvey, Ken Walker, Brees. It would be Harvey and Brees Hall. Moonsman, here's a fun one. Always love fun ones. Brosmer, Tez, Gaddison, Waller, Tyler Warren need 1 tight end and 2 flex. Whoa. Okay. Tyler Warren will be my tight end. I would probably play Gadsden and Waller, honestly. Go 13 personnel, right? Just walk out those 3 tight ends. That's probably where I would go, honestly, though, Moonsman. Seems all 3 seem like they could easily score a touchdown. So, yeah, it's probably where I would go. P. Brissett or Mayfield, I would go Brissett. And then Bucky Irving or Rashad White, I would go with Irving there. Jimmy 8, flex, Bucky, Tyler Warren, or Neal. Tyler Warren. If Tyler Warren plays, you play him. Just plain and simple there. Bucky, too much of a committee still to figure out exactly what we got. Let's see a week move forward. There's a chance he has a good game, but I'm still not excited to throw him in the lineup. Let's say that much. Devin Neal, too, same thing. Kind of want to see it before I don't, I guess. HDMI on YouTube, Dowdle, Olave, Godwin, and Bucky. Pick 2. So I'd probably play Olave and I guess Bucky. I know we just said not really into totally starting him. But Godwin, I think, still gets eased in. You still got Tez Johnson, Gaydot, and etc. going on there with Bucky Irving. Seeing a little less. I know it's kind of a 3-headed monster potentially. Dowdle, I just don't like the matchup for HDMI. Like against the Rams, I suppose you could avoid the chance of a huge committee by both of them and going with Dowdell. But Hubbard's seen more touches too. So I think Olave is the lock. Honestly, I feel like the other three, take your pick your poison. Maybe go Dowdell. Chance he falls in the end zone. Yeah. Probably Olave and Dowdell. Don't love it, but it's probably your best chances there. No problem. Jimmy. Let's see here. When this decides to work, Uncle Charlie. Jennings, Franklin, or Shakir would be Franklin. Gon Suarez, Mayfield, Stroud, Purdy, or Darnold. I will go with Darnold there. Sleepy Gray, half PPR. Need one for running back 2 and one for flex. Judkins, Marks, Abuka, Olave. Judkins and Olave. Blade Runners need one to start. Ladd, Neal, Jones, Mooney, Butte. I will go with Ladd McConkey. Lulu, Dolphins, Colts, Falcons. I will go Falcons. Brian Alexander, Aaron Jones, Marvin Harrison Jr., or Jawan Jennings. I will go Marvin Harrison Jr. Christopher Robinson, full PPR, Marks or Neal. I would go Woody Marks. Rachel Lowry, Morning, struggling at the flex. Juwan Johnson and Blizzard or Butte. I would go Butte there, Rachel. I'm avoiding the passing attacks in Cleveland, much like you said. Kind of a blizzard. IG, Marks, Sutton, Pittman, Tracy, Vidal. Pick 2 would be Vidal and Marks for me. Lazarin, Jessica. That may be wrong. Apologize if it is. Seems right to me. Juwan Jennings, Butte, Aaron Jones. Pick 1. Would be Aaron Jones. I like Jones here. Probably not going to have a historic day by any means against Seattle, but I think he could be okay. My thought process, I guess, is A, run game, B, dump offs. Seems formula math. Math seems to math for me there. Sean Beer, Schultz, or Ertz. I would go with Dalton Schultz there. Been pretty hyper targeted by this Texans passing attack. They've got plenty of targets, so there's a chance it's not so much, but I think he could. CJ Stroud coming back. Stroud seemed to find him pretty relatively often while he was in there, so I'm in on that one for us there. Brenton Strange, Juwan Johnson. I would go Brenton Strange. Dolphins are a little weak against the tight end position, but I still think Strange kind of is a cog that's getting that pass stack going in Jacksonville at the moment. So KY, McLaurin, Dyke, or Higgins. I will go with Higgins. Fannin or random waiver. Parkinson was listed in there. I will take him. He's a hot hand right now. I'm going to ride it. Ride the hot hand against Carolina's defense. Tight ends can eat, so I'm going to go that route. Bucky or Devin Neal for Mike. I think I will go with Devin Neal here. If this loads. Space Ape, Purdy, or Daniel Jones. Yikes. I will go with Purdy, and then Lawrence or... Oh my God, computer. Purdy or Daniel Jones. Also mentioned Lawrence or Darnold available on waivers, so we will go Sam Darnold there. Go ahead, go pick him up, Space Ape. Suss, Dowdell, Keenan, Neal, or Higgins. I will go Devin Neal. What's up, sir? How's it going? Another tight end question: Ertz, Barner, or Waller? I will go with Darren Waller. Touchdown upside. We've seen it. Likely there. So I will go with Waller in that situation. Let's see here. Sport Lad, pick 2. Pittman, Marvin Harrison Jr., Wan'Dale Robinson, Sutton, Franklin, QJ. That is a list. Troy Franklin for sure. And I will go with Marvin Harrison Jr. as the other. Alex, start 2, Harvey, Gainwell, and Cook. Would be RJ Harvey and James Cook. Katarina Griffo, Judkins, Robinson, Wilson, or Myers have 3 slots. Would be Judkins, Robinson, and Wilson. Oh my, this computer. Dun, dun, dun. Flip over the coin. Need one of the following flexes: Waddle, Debo, or Michael Wilson. Jalen Waddle for me. Hyper targeted since Tyreek Hill goes out. Don't really care too much about matchups for Jalen Waddle. I think that he's just the targets outweigh any tough matchup. Explosivity as well. Good chance he can take one for 70. And that's, it's enough fantasy points to be weekly startable. So that's where I'm at. Jalen Waddle for me. Brenton Stranger Dyke for flex. Ooh. I'm going to go Chimere Dyke here for you, HDMI, just because the upside is much higher for DK than it would be for Brenton Strange. Strange really limited in the red zone. Touchdowns are unlikely. So, yeah, I would go with DK there. Kenny Watts, Bucky, Judkins, or Abuka. Start 2 of 3 would be Judkins and Abuka. Greg Campina, Judkins, Jennings, or Abuka. Pick one, half PPR would be Judkins for me, Greg. HDMI, Bucky Vidal, Aaron Jones, or Bam Knight. Kamani Vidal. Full workload there, most likely there for the Chargers. Also, if you want to play the good old what would you call it? I guess the odds or the pattern. This would be the week that Bucky goes for 20 points, or I mean Vidal goes for 20 points. So, just saying, if you're superstitious, just saying. Flipper of the coin, need 2 running back 2, Gainwell or Marks. I'd go Woody Marks. Gainwell could have a big game. Obviously, the Bills can't stop the run to save their lives, so a good chance of that. But I think Woody Marks has a little bit more upside. Obviously, Jalen Warren will be involved there with Gainwell. So I'd go with Marks there for you. Connor, Sutton, or Abuka. I will go Abuka. Pick 2 of Harvey, Vidal, Kenneth Walker, or Bucky. I will go with Harvey and Vidal. Jake, PPR, need 2, Debo. Oh my. Debo, Higgins, Pierce, Adonai, Mitchell. So I would go Higgins and Debo Samuel. Actual dead man. That's weird. How are you tweeting me, man? Dowdell or Franklin would be Troy Franklin for me. Justin Jefferson or Devin Neal. I will go JJ there. Honestly, I was thinking of this quote 100%. I couldn't remember the correct wording HDMI, so I didn't want to throw it out there. But yes, very much. Not superstitious, just a little stitious. Oscar, flex back, bad back Olave or bad appendix. I will go Olave. I saw some things. I think it sounded like it was more spasms for Olave. I feel like that's a little bit more controllable than a pain management for an appendix. I mean, I'm sure that he's just going to be hopped up on some type of painkiller somewhere in there, probably both of them, or muscle relaxer. I don't know what they're going to do. Either way, I ain't a doctor, so I would go Olave though. Still like the matchup a little better, clear number one target in that passing attack. So let's see here. Brents need two Judkins, Vidal, or Neal. Judkins and Vidal. Flex Jefferson or McConkey would be McConkey. Who to flex Marvin Harrison Jr., BTJ, or Neal for fantasy football 32 would be Marvin Harrison for me. Let's see here. Steve, really struggling between Marvin Harrison and Wandell. I know Wandell is on fire, but New England can be stingy, especially at home. I would go Marvin Harrison Jr., Steve. And then Nix or Dart, I would go with Dart. Devin Neal versus Woody Marks. I have Marks probably a little bit higher. Both have solid matchups. I just like that Marks is a clear-cut role that we kind of can predict. Devin Neal's is a little unpredictable at the moment. Seems like he's going to have the lead role from what we saw just last week, but good chance we could see Aldrich Estime today. There's a chance we could see Taysom Hill. Actually, we could probably see. Actually, hold on. Please hold. I believe that should be right there. Game. Where are they at here? Yeah, so Estime is not inactive today. Good chance that we could see some touches from him. So, yeah, I will go with Woody Marks there for you. Let's see here. Let me. Some funny things are going on here. But yeah, Woody Marks over Devin Neal. Flipper of a coin. Sports Kid 1547, Judkins or Wandell. I will go with Quinshon Judkins. Think he finds the end zone today. What should be kind of a messy, low-scoring game, but I think that also will breed enough rushing yards and touchdowns for Judkins to have a pretty good day. Dan, Michael Pittman or Michael Wilson. I would go Michael Wilson. I think the Cardinals will throw plenty today. Both Marvin Harrison and Michael Wilson feel like good starts this week. Kins, start 2 full PPR, Brees, Bucky, or Judkins. So I would go Judkins and Brees Hall there. Kins. Let's see. Over to Twitter. Justin Sanchez, need one flex spot. Neal, Higgins, or Mooney. I would go Devin Neal in that situation. Alec Reyes, pick 2, full PR. Terry, Debo, Mechie, Tracy, Slayton. So Debo and Tracy. GLC start Troy Franklin, Myers, Addison would be Troy Franklin. Cass Kissam, 49ers or New England. I will go New England. Joseph Shy, Bozemer, Neal, or Parker Washington would be Neal for me. Start one, Neal or Strange would also be Devin Neal. Parker Washington or Diggs for Space Ape would be Diggs. O's Turner, Knight or DK. I would go Bam Knight there. Robbie Spike Schultz or Gaddison for tight end. I would go Gadsden, Jefferson or Franklin. Sadly, Troy Franklin. Cleveland or Houston defense. I will go with Cleveland. Jets for life, Woody or Devin Neal would be Woody Marks. IAA, RJ Harvey, Henderson, or Neal. Standard pick 2, Hendo and Harvey for me. Max Reyes, Flex, Slick Rick, or Butte. I would go Butte. Judkins or Aaron Jones. For Space Ape would be Judkins. I would play Kincaid. I don't know if we'll get the news. What time is the Jags game again? Isn't that 1? I think so. So you'd have to go to Ertz. So I'd probably play Kincaid, and then if he doesn't play, pivot to Zach Ertz. Probably where I would go. As far as start 2 full PBR would be Michael Wilson and Wan'Dale Robinson here. And then start 2 here for you, Kins, would be Brees Hall and Quinshon Judkins. Adam Johnson, need 2 out of Myers, Sutton, and Wilson. So Sutton and Wilson. Paraseller, Tez Johnson for G. Curry. That would be Tez. Frank M. Mayfield or Brissett would be Brissett. Can play 2 in PPR. Judkins, Olave, Michael Wilson would be Judkins and Olave. Franklin over Abuka and McMillan. Sure. Yeah, why not? Jags or Dolphins. I would go Jacksonville flipper. Just want to run this back. I realize starting Franklin and Harvey. My running backs are RJ, JT, wide receivers Troy, Marvin Harrison, Flex, Neal. I have Jones, Tucker, QJ on my bench. No, I'd start both Broncos. You'll be fine, Dave. Yeah. I think this could be a little bit of a blow-up game there for the Broncos offense. So lots of points given up to the wide receivers and running backs there in Washington. So I'm fine starting both the Broncos, David. Start 2, Jefferson, Sutton, DK, Sutton, and JJ. Mark K, Quinshon or Ramondre would be Quinshon. Also need 1 full PPR. BTJ, Michael Wilson, or Malik Washington. I would go Michael Wilson. Charbonnet or Chris Rodriguez would be Charbonnet for Joseph. James Davidson, Stafford, or Allen. I will go with Allen. Franklin over Justin Jefferson, sadly. Jacoby Myers versus Parker Washington versus Higgins. I would go Washington. And then Strange or Johnson, probably Strange. Flipper of coin, Bowers, Waller, or Gaddison. Bowers. Got to play Brock Bowers. I get it. I know it hasn't totally been there, but the week you bench him, he's going to go for 30. You watch. You got to ride the wave sometimes. Keyborks, Bucky, or Dowdell. I would go probably Dowdell there. Michael Alfredi, Vidal, or Walker would be Kamani Vidal. Sorry about Bucky's volume snap count. I want to start him, but I had the same thoughts. Yes. Let's see here. Mr. L. Warren or Gaddiston at tight end. Tyler Warren. How we do it. Pick 2. Tat Judkins, MHJ, or Sutton. Judkins and Marvin Harrison Jr. Stacy Walsh, Kyron or Bucky would be Kyron. And then Neil or Michael Wilson. I would do Michael Wilson there, Stacy. Alvarez need 1 running back, Devin Neal or Bucky Irving. I would go Neal. And then 1 flex, BTJ, Simmery, Dyke, Troy Franklin. I would say Franklin. Stindled 3, pick 2 running backs, non-PPR, Dowdell, Irving, Genty. Genty and Dowdell. Daniel, Bucky, MHJ, Troy Franklin, or Woody would be Franklin. Frozen Teardrop, start 2, Judkins, Warren, Henderson, Dowdell, Neal, and Bucky would be Judkins and Henderson. Jamie Ortiz, full PPR, need 1 at flex. Michael Wilson, Jennings, Aaron Jones, Deebo Samuel would be Wilson. Ron Simmons, Gaddison, or Waller, standard scoring. I would say Gadsden. And then Robinson or Cortland Sutton would be Robinson. Toast with the most, Gainwell or Devin Neal. I would say Neal. B-Lock, should I start in flex today? Marvin Harrison Jr. or BTJ? I would say Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's see here. So we got our Bucky or Harvey would be Harvey. Codis, start 2 and flex, Quentin Johnson, Darnell Mooney, Tyler Warren, Woody Marks. So I would say Warren and Marks. Johnson or Gaddison for Zach would be Gadsden. Brian, Vidal, Neil, Dowdell. Pick 2 would be Vidal and Neil. Yes, exactly, Flipper. You know, that'll be the week is when you sit them and Bowers goes off for 30. So just ride the wave. Keefe, start Marvin Harrison Jr., Troy Franklin, Judkins, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. I'd go Troy Franklin and Quinshon Judkins there. I like Harrison, but I think Franklin and Judkins over him this week. Doug, Jennings, Neal, or Pierce. I would go with Devin Neal here. Ride the good matchup. A lot of volume. I'd ride it. Pick 2 in PPR, Neil, Tracy, Vidal, Knight, and DK. So I would go Neil and Vidal. James Davidson, I would have thought last week would have been he throws up a dud, and Stafford goes for like 4 touchdowns. Bum, 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 bum. Alexander H. Baker Mayfield or Brock Purdy. I would go Mayfield there, even with a bum shoulder. Jeffrey Miller, pick 2. Neil, Woody, Shakir, BTJ, Michael Wilson. So we got Shakir and Wilson. C, choosing between Harvey and Judkins would be RJ Harvey, and then Theo or Juwan Jennings would be Theo. Mike Thomas, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Harrison, Michael Wilson, McLaurin, and Higgins. I think I'm going to start both Cardinals receivers. You're welcome. Uh, Izzy P. Pick 2 in PPR: Bam Knight, Chris Rodriguez, or Jaden Higgins. I would go Knight and Higgins. Let's see here. Jason on X. I need to fill running back 2 and flex with 2 of the following: Bam Knight, Bucky, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Devin Neal. I go Marvin Harrison and Devin Neal. Let's see here. Dalton Kincaid or Brenton Strange. I would go with Dalton Kincaid there. Looks like we are kind of winding down on questions. Typically a light week considering the plethora of games leading into Sunday. Eric on X need 2 Marks, Neal, and Gainwell. I would go Marks and Gainwell. Moon's Man. Oh man. Pollard or Theo Johnson. If I'm lose, I'm out in that one. They were once 1-9. I would go Theo Johnson here, Moon's man. There. And then Chris, leftover turkey sandwiches, Bam Knight or Tajay Spears. Bam Knight. I think there's a chance he scores today, honestly. So I'm okay with Bam Knight. A decent flex start. Steve McQueen, Tracy Godwin, DK Mooney, Higgins. I will go Mooney. Sunset Resources. Who to start for flex? Gaddiston or Mechie? I will go Gaddiston. Debo or Wandale Robinson for Chris would be Wandale. OC Woody or Devin Neal. I would go Woody Marks over Devin Neal. OC. Billy start to full PPR, Ibuka, Sutton, or Judkins. Would be Judkins and Ibuka. Connor, I'm not sure what the up arrow's for. Unless you're talking about Woody and Devin Neal, which in that case it's Woody over Devin Neal. Louis the Greek on X, Brissett or Jackson Dart would be Jacoby Brissett. I like the spot still for him. Throwing the football a lot in Arizona. I expect that to continue. Tyler Lockhart, Purdy, or pick up Tua, Mariota, or Young. I'd probably just stay with Purdy there, Tyler. Hometown FF advice, C-Rod or Tutton. I will go with Tutton. Arrow, Gats, BTJ, or Marvin Harrison Jr. I will go Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's see here. Whatever. Need to for two flexes. Ken Walker, Judkins, Pittman, Higgins, Washington. So Judkins and Higgins. Okay, it seems like we are slowing up here. I am going to take that opportunity to go ahead and hop out. Normal rules apply. Just whacked something over there. Start sit thread over at my X account, Popes FFH. If you want to, I'll answer the questions up to 1 o'clock. As always, make sure you check out ftnfantasy.com. Toss us the follow on the socials as well as myself. And then next week, join us back again. We'll be here again for week 14, answering those start state questions as we get 1 week closer to the playoffs and every matchup gets even more critical. But we'll be here 11 a.m., same time, same place next week. Take care. Good luck in all your matchups today. And again, any other questions, shoot them over to me on my X account at Popes FFH. Take care. Best of luck here this weekend.